lost all control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Welcome, everybody, to the Paranormal Portal Wednesday edition, which is also Samhain Eve. So happy Samhain Eve to everybody out there. Hope you're doing great. Welcome to the show, and welcome to my nightmare. No, I mean, isn't that Alice Cooper? I think it was. But hope you guys are doing great. Thanks for being here and being a part of the show. I hope everybody's finding their way in the door. It looks like people are coming in, so... I guess that means that it's time to do some work here, huh? But I'm not alone, ladies and gentlemen. I got my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard, up here in the house with me.
You know, I wish I knew how to say something in a different language.
What would you say?
I don't know. I don't know. Something Nordic, I guess.
Genki deskai.
Okay.
That's Japanese.
Kinky,
but
kinky deskai?
Genki deska. Deska.
This guy's kinky. What? What? Hey, how is everybody? Guess what day it is? It's Samhain Eve.
Samhain Eve, ladies and gentlemen, the day before All Hallows Eve? No, it's not All Hallows Eve. It's Samhain. Samhain. All right. Hope you guys are doing great. Thanks so much for being here. Remember, tomorrow night, it's an epic first for us here on the portal. We are going to do the Parathon.
Oh, my God.
And that sounds really freaking intimidating, but
Parathon.
we don't even know how long that's going to be. So
you may be seeing us just going...
Yeah, you might be just watching us snore, but that might be entertaining. I have no idea what my snore face looks like. So that might be interesting for all of us. Probably something really gross like.
You wouldn't be able to tell, but I'd be drooling. It'd be dripping off my beard, you know? This long strands of...
That's why you don't need beard oil.
That's right. That's right. It's all natural, baby.
It is all natural. That's I saw you glue it on right before the show. No. That's the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. All that furry locks are the real deal.
Yeah, it's all natural.
It is.
All natural.
Yep. But we are going to do
You know you want to stroke it.
No, I don't. I know I don't. I'm positive of that. There's very few things in life that I know without a doubt, but that is one of them.
And sausage.
Stroking your beard. I know I love some sausage, Don. I do love me some sausage.
Oh, no, I'm not going to use Tony's beard oil. I'm sure it's actually pretty good stuff.
I'm sure it is.
But no, I'm not going to use... I have the brand that I prefer. But I don't actually use oil. I just use the conditioners.
Oh, is that does like a shampoo kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, I do have beard poop too. Also.
You said beard poop?
Beard poo.
What the hell is that?
Shampoo, beard poo.
Oh God.
God, that did sound bad, didn't it?
It did. It really did.
So, stuff to wash my beard. Beard wash.
Okay.
I have beard
Gotcha.
wash. And it's actually water based, not all that crap. But anyhow,
yeah, you wouldn't want it to be petroleum based. I don't think.
I mean it's not like got like phosphates and stuff in it like your regular shampoo. It's not thick. It's watery. It's water based. So
hey, you Duke, good to see you. Sorry,
there's Duke. So
missed you last night, but glad to see you're here too, brother. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
So, but I don't usually use oil because I don't get beard drift.
Beard drift. What the hell does that
I'm
mean?
just making up words tonight.
Oh,
Dandruff of the beard.
I thought there was a whole beard vocabulary going on here. I don't know. I can't grow a beard to save my life. You had me, man. I was like totally into it. I'm like, wow, they've got their own culture. There's a whole beard culture I never even knew of.
Actually, there's a huge beard culture.
Well, I know there's a lot of people that grow them.
They're not just hipsters either. I'm not very hip.
You gotta get fitted for some stretchy jeans.
They got to sag off my butt.
Yeah, just a little, I guess.
There doesn't need to be a full moon every day.
No, well, yeah.
You want to talk about the crack of dawn?
The crack of dawn, Jesus. Anybody interested in the crack of dawn?
I seriously doubt it.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. You know, this is a show where we discuss all things paranormal, and I think that might actually fit.
That'd be a paranormal things.
That might be a paranormal, experience. I'm not sure. Don,
today in the news today, the full moon rose a full month early.
Full month early. I suppose it's every month. I think is how that works.
Well, you know.
Well, I don't know how yours works, but anyway.
Kills. Yes, thank you, Lisa. You're right. It can. My dogs will agree.
Ooh. But yeah, I didn't know about this whole beard culture, but I guess it makes sense. Everybody's got to have their little clicky terms and crap, but I can't grow a beard. I've had a goatee before, but I can manage to grow just on my chin, but I got nothing on the sides really. And the problem is my whiskers, believe it or not, are still coming in. I mean, seriously, I'm still getting new ones. Like, oh God, I can grow them here now.
Fuzz going on,
right? I just did this. I did the puberty thing all weird. I guess I don't know. I went for the whole lifetime edition.
You had to wait for 50 to hit it.
Yeah, well, I could probably grow one now, but the problem is that actually most of my whiskers are actually white. And I'm not interested in doing that color.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't want to do like the Sean Connery on your face instead of your head?
No, I don't.
Gracefully gray.
No, not at all. But are men with beards mean to girls to you? What, mean girls to you, Brent? Are men with beards mean girls? Oh, okay, I got you. No, I mean, I think it's fine if people can grow them, but I just can't. Although I can honestly say that when I had the goatee for a period of time, it bothered me a lot. I didn't ever feel like it was really comfortable.
Yeah, that's why I don't grow a full beard, because I hate this up here. It's like,
okay.
No shave November? No, not for me. Just half shave November.
What did we have? We had somebody make a comment when we were carrying on like this.
Which is nothing new.
Oh, God, all they do is talk about all kinds of stuff. It's not even about paranormal. Get with it, guys, or something like that.
Have you ever watched our show? It's totally paranormal.
Everything is paranormal. But I was just like, wow, people are chiming in about how we don't get to the meat right away. They came to get paranormal, and I understand. We do call it Paranormal Portal, but we might do have to do a side project.
No, apparently we might.
Of
Brent
the world according to
hour.
The world according to Don. It might be called
Donisms.
Yeah, we could do a whole Donism.
Or it could just be beep. It's that Don says.
Yeah, lots of beeps. Watch how Don uses cuss words for almost every word in the sentence. Oh, well, but welcome to the show, everybody. We are going to get into all of the paranormal stuff we can handle tonight.
You mean finally?
Well, eventually. Yeah, we eventually get around to it. But Brent's beard, or lack of, is paranormal. That's true. I got a ghost beard. Maybe that's what I got, Nessie. I got a ghost beard. I got a spirit beard.
Brent Noah clock shadow.
I'm going full Gandalf here, but you can't tell. It's all
invisible. And
it's all in another dimension.
It's like polar bear fur hair.
Yeah, maybe. But Don, are you ready to start the show?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
All right, hang on, guys, because we're going in. So Sharon Spears says, glad I got to catch you live. And I'm glad you got to catch us live too, Sharon. But usually we actually talk about the paranormal here. But you got to catch us talking about stupid crap instead. But that happens here on the show sometimes too. We kind of have a real free and open format to the shows. And, where we go, we go. But we do normally focus on paranormal stuff. So hopefully you're not disappointed you caught a live show and this is what it is. So
they're not even talking about it now.
I know.
I must have missed the good part of the show.
Yeah. This is like the wrap up. We've been at it all of 10 minutes. 10 minutes of beard fun right off the start, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my!
But that's how we roll here on the paranormal. I like almost burped at the same time I was talking. That came out all weird. I was like burping at the same time I was trying to say paranormal, and it came out like porn-normal or something. It was like, what?
Stuff Brent says.
It might just be a really long night. This might be the longest 2-hour show we've ever done, but we'll see how it all works out. But welcome everybody to the show. Don, everything else in your world good?
Yes.
Okay, let's try to gear this into an actual show now.
A show, okay.
Yeah, let's try to shape this up.
Okay.
I'm going to run over to the hot sheets right off the bat
hot
here
sheets,
because
nice.
there might be something cool over there. I always go to the singularfortean.com. Again, singularfortean.com. I love this site. They just do a marvelous job. Winged humanoid in Rose Mountain, Illinois. That one we covered. Okay, this is a new one. It says, mysterious phantom photographed on ghost tour in Baltimore, Maryland. Is that up in the window? I think there is up in the window on the top here. This will be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I'll show you what's going on here in just a moment. Do you see that up here, Don?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looks like it might be. I don't know if that's what they're talking about, but it looks anomalous, unless it's just a weird lens flare from the street light, but we'll see. Let's see what it says. 2 attendees of a Baltimore ghost tour's pub crawl were surprised earlier this month when they realized a photograph taken of the reputedly haunted Bertha's Mussels in Fells Point might have captured evidence of paranormal activity. It says the photo was taken October 19th along Lancaster Street between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Joseph and Nicole Henry, a married couple from Annapolis, were leaving Bertha's, one of the first bars on the tour's crawl, when Joseph decided to take a photo of the building. According to the couple, the windows were all dark when he took the picture. I remember saying, "What's that blue light? Is that a hand?" Nicole told Baltimore CBS affiliate WJZ. We were like, "Oh my God." They even said that. It's like, we were like, "Oh my God."
They didn't OMG it. They said, "Oh my God."
Yeah. We were like, yeah, it's just that we were like thing. That's funny. And they showed the photograph to the tour guide, Cliff, who agreed it was unusual and advised them to share it. The photograph was sent to Baltimore Ghost Tours, who posted it to their Facebook page. And Baltimore Ghost Tours says, over the years, we've seen a lot of ghost photos that people have taken on our tours, but never anything like this. This was taken during the tour. The guests who took it showed it to our guide immediately. The little girl ghost at Bertha's third-story window. And it's photographed. Of course, they give credit. And it says, people email us ghost photos all the time, but I've never seen anything like this, said Melissa Rowell, co-owner of Baltimore Ghost Tours. Rowell operates the tour with her business partner, Amy Linwander, with whom she co-wrote Baltimore's Harbor Haunts, True Baltimore Ghost Stories. According to Rowell, most of the photographs taken on the tour are of orbs, a controversial phenomena that many believe is caused by a light reflecting off of dust or insects, rather than anything paranormal. I've never seen anything that looks like a human form, she added. She showed the photograph to Linwander, who suspected it might have been photoshopped, although Cliff confirmed that the couple showed him the photo only moments after it had been taken, well before any manipulation could have taken place. And Rowell said that the staff at Bertha's are so afraid of paranormal activity on the second floor that they won't go up there alone. One staffer even reportedly opened a storage closet only to find a little girl around the age of 8 dressed in a frilly white dress from the 18th or 19th century and standing in a patch of moonlight. The girl is said to have looked at him, surprised, before vanishing. Rowell said that the little girl hasn't been identified but might have lived there in the 18th or 19th century when Fells Point was severely overcrowded, which meant diseases like yellow fever could spread quickly and ran rampant throughout the community, killing hundreds of people, including many children. In 1793, 5,000 people in Baltimore succumbed to yellow fever, a full 10% of the city's population at the time. Andy Norris, Bertha's owner, said anyone who has spent time in the building has really experienced something paranormal. There are definitely things that make the hair on the back of your neck stand up from time to time, Norris said. I don't let it freak me out too much, but I guess it's because I'm a bit of a skeptic. The Singular Fortean Society photo analyst Emily Wayland isn't so sure that the image is paranormal. It says, that looks like something happening on the lens, she said. I suspect there was some light source in the room, say from someone watching a television in the dark, and that's reflecting off the glass of the camera lens. Funny enough, this effect is called lens ghosting. Watching television in the dark or a similar intermittent light source could explain why they all thought the window was dark at first too, since it might only flare up at certain moments, she added. Lens ghosting makes the image easy for some to write off as pareidolia, the tendency to perceive a specific, often meaningful image in a random or ambiguous visual pattern. Pareidolia, however, explains only the how of an anomalous image, not the why, according to the Singular Fortean Society's lead investigator, Tobias Wayland. What if pareidolia is simply one of the means through which paranormal entities communicate? Asked Tobias. Imagine spiritual beings that exist on the level of human consciousness and what they might need to do to communicate with us, he continued. Sure, they could speak to us directly through dreams or visions, but how would they make a visible physical appearance? Maybe human consciousness interacts with the paranormal in such a way that sometimes the end result is physical reality acting in accordance with our expectations regarding paranormal events. And maybe that explains the pareidolic images associated with certain phenomena like ghosts, cryptids, or religious images. That's an interesting thought, really. I never considered that. In essence, we're directed by paranormal phenomena to interpret carefully constructed but seemingly random stimuli in a way that allows us to see physical representation of something that is only psychically present, said Tobias. Although it could be the imagination and wishful thinking too, in some cases, he added, maybe even in this case, the real challenge is discerning between these possibilities. So let me put it up on screen and let you guys see the image in question. Let's put it over here and I'll pop it up on the viewer here so we all can have a look. So here, let me see. Okay, this is the main image. Here's the big Bertha, eat Bertha's muscles. That's what it says on the wall. That's quite a. Are you snorting?
I had no choice.
I've never heard you snort before. That's a new laugh.
It's because of the sinus thing going on.
Oh, gotcha. It says eat Bertha's muscles, but up here in this top window, ladies and gentlemen, are what we're focusing on. And in this shot, you can see a little more of it. It looks
like an arm reaching out.
It does, and it looks like it actually may end out here, but that is curious, and it does look like there are curtains drawn, unless that's just a side light coming in. But so is that either that's the wall jutting out, or that's a curtain covering most of this window?
And this little piece of it cracks.
Yeah, and there's a little bit open there.
Yeah.
Right. So that wouldn't, if it was watching television, that lens flaring wouldn't make as much sense as far as casting an anomaly from a TV or something, you know. I don't know. That's very curious.
Huh.
I can see where it could look like. I mean, this would almost look like a face, really, with two eyes, dot, and a potential nose. But again, it is very much it's not concise enough to be what is the word I'm looking for?
Lens ghosting.
Well, no, it's not concise enough to be determinant.
Gotcha.
It's ambiguous, but it still does really look like a face with an arm coming out here.
Yep.
I mean, it really does as far as lens flares go. Here's the three together, and that's really zoomed in on the potential apparition. I don't know. But I am seeing this light here, and that is pretty bright. It is coming into the camera. Could that have created this effect here, in the aperture? Could that have affected this light here affecting this light up here, or creating this light here as a pseudo lens flare? Not a very bright one because it's a night and it's a night light. But in night shots like this, ladies and gentlemen, the aperture in the camera, the aperture is basically the opening to the sensor. It's going to be at its widest point because it's got to let in a hell of a lot of light to create a viable image. And so it needs to open up just as wide as possible. And maybe that was enough to create that lens flare up in that window. And I'm not saying it is a lens flare. I'm not saying that it's not paranormal or that it is paranormal or not. I just don't know. But there are certainly, in my estimation, and this is just me, but I think that when you offer evidence as evidence, it's got to be very compelling. And not there is no explanation for how it could have happened, but it's least likely that it's just mundane things. Like, for instance, the podcast last night, Don, when we were doing the podcast on pilots and astronauts
Right.
seeing UFOs.
Right.
And some of the explanations that people tried to come up with for, oh, no, that must have just been, X. And X
Right.
was so absolutely astronomical. It was more fantastic than just saying it's probably a UFO.
Probably UFO, yeah.
It would be easier to just say it was a UFO.
Right.
But, and in this case, I don't know. It could go either way. I think it's an interesting picture and may very well be paranormal, but it also may very well just be a function of the low light and a lot of other factors.
Right.
And the biggest thing is how hot that light is into the camera. I mean, that's a hot spot is what the term in photography is called. This one is as well, and this one is as well, but these are much more distant.
Well, I think what the gal in the article was saying was the light coming from the inside the room, like
Right.
if somebody had like the bathroom light on, because that's a hotel, right? Or like
It's a business. I don't know that anything's going
that
on.
that looks like living area up there,
Right.
like oh yeah, I live above Bertha's muscles,
Yes.
So yeah, I know.
You go, boy.
I'm two to the left of eat Bertha's muscles. But I mean, the light that's escaping from that particular window.
Right, but that's why I talked about that
Right.
looking like a drape.
Yeah, but
So
I
that
mean,
does
I
look
think,
like a drape.
I think it looks. I think I'm gonna play devil's
Sure.
advocate here.
Okay.
That's reflected light off the windowsill, that side of the sill that's lit up.
Oh, like it came out. And
Yeah, like
bounced
it's
and
like
came
it's
out.
like the curtains open this much and it's
Yep.
bouncing off here like this, and it's
Let me
it
get
just
you on
happens
screen.
to catch. So it's like open this much and it's hitting the light's coming in and hitting the side of the
Right.
and it's bouncing out. So
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying that it's not possible. That's for sure. I mean, and that's I think what the point of this is that
Right.
there's so many potential explanations for this that it would really take someone to go back with the exact same camera and reshoot this and with duplicating those conditions to see if this image repeats at that point.
Mhm.
And if it is a TV kind of thing, you could probably never do it then if that was the source. But so either it's a TV thing like they're saying, or it could actually be a spirit wave. And
yeah.
hi.
Or sticking as Duke says, the ghosts out there giving you the thumbs up.
Right, yeah.
Giving
Hey.
us the thumbs up.
Speaking of that, how many people are here right now, Don?
Oh gosh, we have 55 watching, 32 likes. We need more likes.
We do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's here, though?
Who's here? Let's see. Got Bob in Germany. Cam's here. Ms. D. Swigger. Ms. Deborah Varner. Is that Damios? I am Pam. Isaac's here. Justin Goodearth is here. The other Justin Langton is here. Christina. Lane Lair. Lisa's here. Lewis, of course. Nessie Monster. Pegleg Kenny 59. How are ya? Rick, a.k.a. Purple Hobbit. Robin. Weird Desk. Okay, guys, stop popping in. It keeps moving my thing. Ken from Down Under. And, of course, Mr. Duke is here. Mog just came in, so he's late. I think Deb was late, too. Oh, look, I got a couple more. Chris Jarvis, Claire Neely, Dana. Hi, Dana. And Gemini. Oh,
Janice Wiesen.
Janice Wiesen, yeah.
Welcome,
There you
everybody.
go.
And then, Peg Leg Kenny. Okay, so you did say that one before.
that one, y'all.
You did Beastly Bronco. Did you say that one?
Oh, no, I didn't.
He's here. He says,
know
I'm
he is.
here.
I know he is. I know he is.
And Gemini is here.
Hello,
Hello,
Timothy
Gemini.
Allen is here.
Who is?
Sharon Spears. Oh, yeah. Remember Sharon Spears? Timothy Allen, not Tim Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Goomba.
More power.
Sorry, Timothy. I just can't. I can't help it.
He can't hear that name and go, oh, not
I can't leave it alone. Yeah. I finally made it to a live show. Laugh out loud. Good work gets in the way of the fun. Hi, everyone. Hi, Dana. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. It's awesome you made it.
Yes.
Hopefully, it'll be a memorable show, and just you'll be so happy you were here. I can't make any guarantees, though, ladies and gentlemen, because the Paranormal Portal is its own show.
It is. It goes anywhere it wants.
We would like to think that we're driving the ship, but usually we're just kind of surfing the wave.
We're just holding on and giving that face like this.
We're just surfing the wave and trying to, make it to shore. But yeah, it's an adventure. But so far, we're off to a good start, I think.
Yeah, sure. We're not.
I don't mean to
talking about
jinx
beer,
it.
right?
I'm knocking on what?
We're not talking about beer, right?
No, not yet. I'm sure we could probably get there, though. That was what that guy was pissed about the other day. It's like,
I mean, it is what it is. So
it is, and granted, I don't begrudge somebody to say, I came to watch a paranormal show and they were talking about beer for 20 minutes, but it was kind of a good conversation. It was interesting. I think that kind of stuff is interesting.
When you have your live audience engaged, you just kind of go with what the live, that's what's going to keep them coming.
That's right. We want to keep you guys engaged. So how, ladies and gentlemen, can we be more engaging than we are? Just let us know. But if you...
Oh, boy.
What?
I fear that answer.
Oh.
You guys can wear Speedos.
Oh, God, no. That would...
See?
Yeah.
That's what they would do to us, though.
No, they wouldn't, because it would require our participation, and that's not happening
there's
ever.
Pazuzu.
Hey, Pazuzu, good to see you.
And Pat Studios here. I think I forgot somebody else.
Well,
Smoke and Joe. Did I say Smoke and Joe?
I
don't
know.
remember.
But welcome, everybody. Thanks,
Tracy
guys, for being
Marshall.
here. Lane Lair.
Yep, I said that one.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm on that one.
Oh, all right. Sorry. I'm just seeing these names popping up.
no Cha-Cha yet.
Where is Cha-Cha?
Wow.
What's going on? She's playing hooky? Uh-oh. There'll be hell to pay. Do the show topless. Hell,
Oh, God, no.
There'll be no... This is a moob-free show.
This is a moobless show.
We will not show moobs on the air during the Paranormal
You can
Portal.
just watch us two boobs on the air.
Yeah.
Oh, Cha-Cha's weekend only? Since when?
What?
Cha-Cha's been in Wednesday shows, hasn't she?
I think so.
I think so. Oh, Fiddleback Guy. Fiddleback Guy needs a shout out.
Oh, Fiddleback, good to see you. He and I had a discussion about what his name meant. The other night, it's
a spider.
Right, but I knew it meant something. I knew I was familiar with it, and I couldn't figure it out, but we narrowed it down.
There you go. Yeah.
We got it sorted, or he already knew, but I didn't.
They like bananas.
What?
They like bananas. They
Seriously?
have banana bunches, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that about them.
No, Cam, we're not doing a little dance. If you want to see me do a dance, go back in our catalog on YouTube, back when we had the projection screen behind us, then you'll catch me doing a dance.
Don did some shadow dances every once in a while. To me, it was kind of disturbing. But
that's because it was right behind you.
I know, that's the creepy part. And I saw it in the camera, like, what am I seeing on my screen?
What is that?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It was funny, though. I didn't expect it. It was definitely shocking.
Wow, can you believe we put up 500 videos, over 500 videos?
Yeah, because we got that nice badge on Social Blade.
Yeah, no doubt.
For having over 500 videos up, ladies and gentlemen, on our YouTube page. We are...
You're welcome, Mog.
What'd Mog say?
He said, thanks so much for no moobs. We're with you.
Yeah, well, better get lots of likes, otherwise there might be moobs happening. I'm just kidding. we'll blackmail our audience.
That's like when
okay, where's those likes? Come on, guys.
Somebody said just blink into the camera, Don, and MCAT gave us $10.
Right.
I'm cheap. I'm just not easy.
Do you guys have a plaque yet?
No.
Just on my teeth, but
God,
no. You got to have like 100,000 subs to get a plaque.
Yeah.
We are nowhere near a plaque. They don't even send you a nail for it. At 5,000.
They'll send you a postcard that says,
Nice try.
Keep it up, guys. It's just an email for us. Hey, you hit 5,000. Congrats. But no, we don't get plaques or anything until you get up to 100,000 and above. Then they start mailing you stuff to hang up.
Pazuzu says, 40-second like I'm the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Sounds like what I lost in the divorce.
Wow.
Never been divorced, by the way.
No.
But that's what I hear.
I have. I've been there.
Have you ever wondered if a slug is just a snail that lost his house in the divorce?
Nope, I never did wonder that at all. But
back to more stuff Don
maybe we
says.
should find some paranormal stuff to read. All right, so here's one that I found was really interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is something that's always been curious to me, and the curious part is the so we've talked before on the show about the Wendigo, and the Wendigo has about 5 different explanations or descriptions for what it is. It can be a possessing spirit to this scrawny antlered creepy thing to a Bigfoot thing to there's about 3 other types. There's a
Cha-Cha just made it in.
Oh,
she changed her name. It's Cha-Cha Monster now. Miss Monster, thank you.
Everybody's a monster now.
I know.
We got Nessie,
Monster,
Mog.
yeah.
We got lots of monsters.
Yeah, I wonder if they're all getting married.
I don't know. I hope we're getting invited to the wedding, though.
That's going to be a hell of a wedding.
That'd be a hell of a reception, I'm telling you. The monster mash. Sorry. But I was talking about the Wendigo, and there's lots of different explanations for what it is. And the thing that always is curious to me is like, well, what the hell is it really? Well, I've noticed the same thing for the rougarou, which comes out of Louisiana and Cajun lore, and so I found this article that I wanted to share with you guys.
A Wendigo?
Well, it's a history of the rougarou.
Right.
Louisiana's werewolf is what it says. Yeah. So, see, I have heard the rougarou described as an alligator creature. I've heard it described as like a wolf man kind of thing. I've heard it described like a Bigfoot. Again, it's a description. Well, it's a term with many different apparent descriptions. So I was curious about what this article said. I haven't pre-read it, so I don't know what we're going to be finding out here. But it's in micro font. It's white. It's white background with blue font.
Blue font. Micro
Who the
font.
hell designs this stuff?
The guys who want to shove everything on one page.
Oh God!
Michael San Giacomo says Wendigo are Jinn.
Well, there's another idea in the soup of ideas that try to explain what they are, and I would say that they're probably not, because the whole concept of jinn comes from the Middle East and the Quran.
It's the Muslim.
Yep. Yep. But I mean, could it be a being like a jinn? Sure. Or the American version of a jinn? Maybe. But they are also very, very much described as a very physical creature, and many different lores. So it's hard to know what it is.
I'm not Duke.
What?
Duke says the rougarou is Cajun version of the French loup-garou.
Yeah, loup-garou. Yeah,
which I've already said. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I guess we got some great minds in here. That's all there is to it.
That's why we know what we know.
Yeah. Right.
Anyhow, I'm sorry. Go ahead with the story.
Okay. History of the rougarou, Louisiana's werewolf. The full moon, and the site is Pelican State of Mind. I don't know what Pelican means for Louisiana, but I guess it's important to the state of Louisiana. And I'm not being cheeky with that. I really don't know what Pelican means for Louisianans. But the full moon hangs high over Louisiana swampland. The bright lights of the stars flicker, and the murky licks of the waves near the towering, ominous cypress trees. Frogs croak their songs in the distance, and mosquitoes buzz as they fly around looking for their next meal. There's a howl in the near distance. It sounds like a wolf, but something's a little off. Standing on 2 legs atop a fallen moss-covered tree is a large, snarling beast. It throws its head back, letting out a blood-curdling howl to the moon. That's no werewolf, though. That's what we in Louisiana call the rougarou, char. Like mon cher. When traveling down the interstate or the back roads in Louisiana, you'll see lots of beautiful scenery, remnants of history freckle the map. Whether it's old and potentially haunted buildings, abandoned theme parks, or even museums, with some very strange collections. Back in the thick fog-covered swamplands is where you'll find the true beauty of Louisiana, and perhaps even a monster or two, including the legendary beast called the rougarou. The history of the rougarou is centuries old and has many different origins, but the earliest mention of the infamous mythical Louisiana werewolf comes from medieval France. Back in the day of armor, swords, and jousting, there was a lot more to fear than the plague and witches. Or the plague, rather.
The plague.
Lewis got plaque in my
teeth.
head. Beasts called the loup-garou, which means werewolves in French, were also infamous throughout the country. Back in the 16th century, they'd regularly blame various crimes on loup-garou. Apparently, that was a thing they did back then. Did your house get ransacked during the night? Loup-garou. Did a child disappear in the village without a trace?
Loup-garou.
Definitely a loup-garou. Personally, I'd never hear about something terrible and say, yep, that's definitely the work of a werewolf, case closed. And this is just one interesting problem that they had to deal with centuries ago. Makes that morning commute not seem so bad, right? I like this little cheeky article. The villagers would capture people they believed to be loup-garou and then hold public trial. Usually they'd find someone in the woods or something in the village who was just acting strange.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's like their version of the Salem witch trials, yeah. Mm-hmm. The court would ask the public if they believed the accused to be loup-garou, and usually the public agreed, mainly for fear that they'd be ousted as a witch or a loup-garou themselves. And these loup-garous became a fear for many people in the country, leading to them earning their place in legends passed down to children. The French Catholics claimed that you would be turned into a loup-garou if you did not follow the rules of Lent for 7 consecutive years. Ooh, more of that control through
The
fear.
dogma. Yeah.
Yeah, man. The early churches were nasty with that stuff. And there were also a story that was told to kids that if they didn't do what their parents asked, a loup-garou would come and steal them away in the middle of the night. When many of the French migrated to Canada and the southern United States, they took the legend of the loup-garou with them, or the loup-garou, Cajun country and the legend of the rougarou. Since the migration, many of the legends began to change to match the times and the dialect. Since Cajun dialect is a mix of French and English, and well known for changing words completely to roll off the tongue easier, the name of the beast changed from loup-garou to rougarou, also spelled Rouxgarous, or Rugaroo, or Rugaru.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of spelling over here. Thanks, Don, for asking. In the swamps within greater New Orleans area and the Acadiana is where the beast has come to life. He might even be neighbors with the Honey Island swamp monster, which is Louisiana's Bigfoot of the swamp. Oh, look they got a picture of it stabbing a pig. Cajun legend says the beast hunts down Catholics who don't follow the rules of Lent. Well, it looks like they took that to heart,
Yeah.
which is similar to the telling of the old French stories. Another telling of the story says the rougarou is under a 101-day curse unless the affected person can transfer the curse to another human being. I've heard that, yeah.
Ah.
Their curse usually comes from a local witch, sometimes a voodoo priestess. It is said that you can protect yourself against the loup-garou or rougarou by laying 13 small objects by your doors. Apparently, when a person changes into the rougarou, they forget how to count past 12, probably since they only worry about midnight and the moon at this point. And the rougarou will see 13 objects, try to count them, and be unable to count them all, and this will perplex it. And it will keep recounting until the sun comes up, and it must flee. I'm not making this up. It says, I'm not making this up. Fun fact, rougarou rum, manufactured by Donner Peltier Distilleries in Thibodaux, Louisiana, has a special praline-flavored version called Rougarou 13 Pennies.
Ew.
Huh. Despite the fact that it was originally a legend, there are still claimed sightings of the rougarou to this day, though. It has died off a bit in the past decade. The beast is also a hit in pop culture here in Louisiana, and there's an annual rougarou festival in Houma, Houma, every year, and the Audubon Zoo in New Orleans has a rougarou exhibit, which includes a statue of the creature in all of its swampy glory. The New Orleans Pelicans, must be a sports team, had originally thought about changing their name from the Hornets to the rougarou at one point. Have you ever heard of the rougarou or another scary Louisiana monster before? Let us know in the comments before. And this article was by Frank Kerner. Nice job, Frank. I think you did a great job.
That was good,
yeah, really good. I find it interesting how many times that whole OCD thing comes into play with the supernatural.
Yeah, absolutely.
People talk about, distributing matchsticks all over your floor.
Or
and
Fox Mulder uses sunflower seeds.
well, right. I mean, but that's honest to God. With the X-Files, they used a lot of legend and lore to fill in the meat and potatoes of the show. But that does come up. I think Rob was just talking about it in dealing with the Fae or one of those things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he mentioned something about that as well.
Yeah, so you put things around your bed to keep them away.
Yeah, because they just get obsessed with counting it,
Right.
and it'll give you an opportunity to escape while they're stuck counting. And I think that's funny. And in fact, I remember the X-Files where he dropped the matches.
The vampire. It was
he had to count it.
Yeah, it was after I count these, I'm going to kill you.
That was great.
It was the kid who played the Great Hambino in The Sandlot.
Yep. Brent is also the Count. I am the Count. Thank you, Louis. I want to suck your blood.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying, that's a vampire thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, where am I? Okay, so that was the rougarou, ladies and gentlemen. I think we all learned a little bit more about that. Now, here's the thing. What else is believed to be in Louisiana, Don?
The honey something monster.
Well, honey on the swamp monster,
Oh,
yes.
honey
But
on the swamp monster.
another very famous cryptid that appears down there, even in the present day, the Dog Man.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
The Dog Man. I think
Vic.
it's
Hold on.
what?
Settle down, Vic. The Dog Man.
The Dog Man. Don, the Dog Man is seen in Louisiana. Just saying. That's my Vic Cundiff imitation. How'd I do, guys? But no, the Dog Man is real common down there. In fact, Dark Waters has had his experience down in that area. Maybe his was in Mississippi, but I think it was in Louisiana. But yeah, very, very. What the hell, Justin?
They sparkle.
Oh God, yeah. Gotcha. There you go. But I just think that the Dogman is real common, and so how are the rougarou explained as a wolf?
Yeah, well,
right?
Yeah.
So I bet you they've been seeing Dogmen down there this whole time and came up with all this lore to mash it up in. But that's what I really believe. Seriously, I prefer werewolves. Yeah, I do too. To be honest with you, Purple Hobbit. Rick, it's Dogman. Who the hell was it? It was like a superhero. Somebody said that the name Dogman reminds you of superhero. And I'll use my powers of fetching.
That's how you get them away from you. Fetch.
Yeah, if you got a Dogman coming, you got to throw a stick.
A stick hanging from a drone. Watch this.
Or actually, you fake throw the stick because then they'll never find it, and then you got a little more time to get away.
You wait till I find the stick. I'll kill you. And you're standing over there going.
Yeah, exactly. When I find this stick, I'm gonna eat your bones. You're like, okay. Meanwhile, you just walk to the car and just get your keys out casually, because he won't be back anytime.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think what's going on down there is that they've just been seeing Dogmen for a long time. And that's where the legend was probably born. Dogmen are commonly, in fact, according to Linda Godfrey, almost exclusively seen near water.
Right.
And of course, Louisiana, forget about it.
It's all swamp.
It's all swamp, yeah. So, much like the Bigfoot is often seen in boggy swamplands too, but I think they have a more dynamic range. But the Dogman seems to prefer staying at least in proximity to some wetlands. Right. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But yeah, that was my my rougarou update. And we've never really covered that on the show. So that's why I thought it was really cool.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Right. It's just something new we've never really discussed. And so if any of you guys have anything you want to chime in about, of course, the phone lines are always open. 720-923-0500. And for those of you that have just come in, tomorrow night here on the Paranormal Portal, we're doing the Parathon. That means Don and I will be sitting here for a lot longer than normal, and trying to keep you guys entertained.
Lots of coffee.
So I hope we get lots of audience participation. Yeah, lots of coffee. You're right, but then I'm gonna have to go
Pee
to
every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I got like a thimble bladder when I'm drinking coffee, but
He's got the bladder of a baby.
I've got the bladder of a dormouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but my coffee cup is really big. So what?
I was doing something and I got sidetracked and I forgot what I was doing.
That's right. Just look above Brent's head. Thank you, Duke. Yeah, the number is right above my head.
Somewhere
I
around
keep it
over
up
there.
here, right up there. Yeah. That's the number to get in hold of us. If you want to call in, you can certainly be a part of tonight's show if you've got something to share or some thought to share.
What about Momo?
What about Momo?
All right, Joe says, what about Momo?
Momo's in Missouri.
Misery.
The Missouri Monster. That's how they came. Missouri Monster. It got shortened to Momo. And it's an atypical Sasquatch because I think the prints are all three-toed from the classical case anyway. And
Inbred?
it was all covered in hair, like really, really shaggy hair. Momo is a little bit different than your normal run-of-the-mill Squatch, but that's about all I know about it, other than it's just periodically sighted in Missouri.
Whatever, Wes.
What do you say?
He says, I'll call in tomorrow. I'm going to be on Bigfoot Odyssey. I'll come to your show. Just kidding.
Thanks a lot, Dick. I mean, Wes. Just rub that right in.
Carrie says, we saved the best for last. I said, those two hacks?
Yeah, Kerry doesn't know what he's in for. We've had those two on at the same time here.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had our share. No, that's been great. We've had some great participation from Wes and Tony. Not Tony so much anymore.
Yeah.
I think Wes chased him out.
Yeah, he's a busy guy. He's a single-minded guy. He's got he's got his family obviously, but then for his family he's working on the confessionals just every second.
Are you making excuses for him?
No, I'm not making excuses for
he
him.
can
He's a
show up once in a
hard-working
while.
fella.
I know he is.
Who, Tony Lurkel?
He can show up and get to show some love. I have to agree, Don. Like the best for last. Wes said.
He was the last of the best.
Yeah. No, that'd be a great show. I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah.
You guys are. Whenever you and Tony are together, there's.
I might have to download it, chop it up, and make fun of it.
Nice, Don.
I know, huh?
No, it'll be a good show. I'm looking forward to
Use
that.
it for vignettes next year.
I actually had that discussion with Wes and Tony about getting both of them on here, but I guess Carrie was quicker.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It'll be a great show. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what those two can get into on Bigfoot Odyssey. Poor Carrie.
They'll be fighting over who's going to talk.
I know Carrie and Daniela won't. They'll just
They'll just stand there going.
they'll just be sitting there with their mouths open. It'll be like two tornadoes clashing. No, they're a lot of fun. Great guys. Honestly, great guys.
Every time I think of them two together, I think of Wes's second ad. Wes, no, seriously, Wes, no.
I got beard oil to sell next Tuesday.
Oh,
I love how he managed to plug his own stuff on Wes's ad.
I'm
That was
surprised
awesome.
he didn't get his phone number out there. Call me if you need a good time.
No, that's
I'm
awesome.
joking.
Yeah.
We take this all in fun.
Honestly, Wes and Tony are amazing guys, and they've been a lot of good fun in the show. And
I
we've
got some Kleenex over here. Do you need some?
What, for my eye.
To polish your nose off.
What are you talking about? Oh, you think of brown nose? I'm just saying.
I would
We're making
too.
fun of them, but we do like them. They're good people.
Yeah,
We have fun
I have to say, Wes is the only one ahead of us. That's for sure.
ahead of us.
Yeah, we were talking about numbers earlier.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true. But a long ways ahead of us.
A long ways ahead of
We're
us.
not even in the same zip code yet, but we're coming. We're coming, dude. I'm just saying.
You just keep your eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah, we'll be there in about 4 years. Trust me. All right, so let's see. What I got some UFO stuff that I found interesting,
Nice.
and this ties into the whole Navy stuff, but it's not coming. Okay, what? Oh, So this is coming from Newsweek. I thought this was an interesting article, and I suppose I could just put it up because it's Newsweek. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to whine. Well, I mean, what are they going to do?
Friggin' Wes.
What did he say?
He says, amazing. It was a great compliment, Brent, until you included Tony. Then it felt a little empty.
Well, you know. I'm trying to keep you grounded. I'm trying to keep you grounded, Merkel.
And then he called him Tony.
I called him Wes Merkel. Sorry. I don't know how that happened.
Wes Gurkel.
Oh my God.
Wow.
How did
He says, ouch.
All right, so this is from Newsweek, ladies and gentlemen, and I think this is kind of cool. I haven't read it yet, so we're going to find out what it says together, but it has to do with the footages that are of course,
Is that the Academy of Stars?
No, that is. I'm trying not to put that up on the screen because I don't want to give them I don't want to give them any traction here. I mean, I got nothing against them, but but it has to do with the Tic Tac videos that were released,
Right.
of course, apparently
By
mistakenly.
TTSA.
By what?
TTSA is the one that leaked them.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Stars Academy leaked them. They were somehow given access to them, and they decided to share it with everybody, which I guess we should all be happy about.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they
that's
should
huge.
do. And then they hand over anything else over to the military.
Right, and then they have these meta materials that they have that are apparently from crashed craft.
Meteorites. Oh, yeah.
And including a piece Linda Moulton Howe gave them. They've now come up with military contracts with all that stuff. And it's research contracts, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll just be released in the next spring wear collection from Macy's or something. But but anyway, let's see what this says. Since 2014, UFOs have intruded upon military airspace so often as several times per month. A military official told the Washington Post in a follow-up published by the Post on Monday. The same official said that the U.S. Navy will not share any more information regarding what they call unexplained aerial phenomena. UAPs, Don.
UAPs.
UFO just isn't good enough anymore. They got to be UAPs now.
That's politically correct.
They won't be shared with the public, though, despite drafting formal procedures to document UFO sightings on an ongoing basis. There have been a number of reports of unauthorized or unidentified aircraft entering various military-controlled ranges and designated airspaces in recent years. The Navy said in a statement released to Politico, who first reported on the new approach, the Navy is updating and formalizing the process by which reports of any such suspected incursions can be made to the cognizant authorities. A new message to the fleet that will detail the steps for reporting is in the drafts. So this is old news. I don't know why I pulled this up. This is not new, but the new process came in response to multiple sightings of rounded objects spotted and tracked on infrared cameras, including footage of the so-called Tic Tac UFO craft released by the New York Times, Don, on 2017.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So during the 2004 incident, the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group tracked multiple UFOs off of California's Baja Peninsula with pilots, radar technicians, and other military officials confirming the mysterious technology. At a certain point, there ended up being multiple objects that we were tracking. Petty Officer Gary Vortis, stationed aboard the Princeton missile cruiser escorting the USS Nimitz, said in testimony described by Issues in Science and Technology. They all generally zoomed around at ridiculous speeds and angles and trajectories, and then eventually they all bugged out faster than our radar. Wow, faster than the radar? So like, boom, they were just gone. The vehicle's buzzing military installations are described as having no air intake, no exhaust, and no other indication of a power source or known method of generating thrust. Joseph Gradisher, spokesman for the Office of the Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Information Warfare, described multiple recorded sightings per month to the Washington Post, but emphasized that any further information will likely remain classified. Congress may see reports with broad statistics regarding the number of sightings and conclusions taken from the follow-up investigations. So they're only going to report it to Congress in terms of how many. but they're not going to go into too much specifics. It doesn't sound like. But while the Navy plans to keep its UFO sightings out of the public eye, the politician who helped fund the Pentagon's shuttering UFO program, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, says UFO sightings are far more common in military circles than previously revealed. Well, that's nice because they've been making people feel stupid for how long now?
Yep.
That's wonderful. Speaking with CBS affiliate KLAS in Las Vegas, former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid described widespread sightings on military bases. You can't just hide your head and say these things are not happening, Reid, who has previously described a UFO arms race between the United States and competing countries, told the I-Team's George Knapp. We have military installations where hundreds and hundreds of people who are there see these things. Wow. So that's actually an old news kind of thing. I thought that was much more recent by the description, but well, at least we've, I guess, more accurately reported it now.
Well, now we know a little bit more, yeah.
A little bit more. So I'm going to put on a costume with a mask, inhale helium, and come cackle like a witch at y'all. Thanks, Five Hazel. That'll be awesome.
We're waiting.
We're waiting. So anything going on now? Did I miss anything else?
No.
Okay. Keep an eye on that chat, Don. We got a lot to watch here.
Yeah, I know. And Bell Prepper's on my list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What list is this, Don?
The one where she backs up and tracks a statement that I'd already seen.
Ooh. All right.
See, that's my job.
That is your job. All right. So now I wonder if this is still the same thing then. I was going to read this one too, Don, but that's a wash too.
Oh.
Because it's the same thing basically.
Well, at least you keep it on one subject.
Well, yeah. At least I had some organization, Don. I pulled up.
I'm surprised you found the tab.
Well, I've got less up here. Do you notice that now?
Yeah, actually, I have noticed.
Yeah, I've kind of thinned it out a little bit.
You've only got two windows with 10 tabs each?
Yeah, no, probably 15 over here.
15, okay.
And about 12 over here.
Okay.
So. And then the pop-out chat on top of that. And then Skype.
Pop-out chat's necessary.
And then the other one over here, that's the call board, which nobody is using, by the way.
Hey, what happened? I thought the number... wasn't the number 720-923-0500?
It is, and it still is. So,
wow.
I mean, that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Again, 720-923-0500. And nobody's using it.
Wow.
I don't understand.
You'd think they didn't like us.
You'd think. No, they love us.
Nessie Monster says, uh-oh, is Belle in the naughty chair? No, she's in the basement.
Uh-oh. You don't want to be in Don's basement because...
I have a 5-family freezer down there.
Yeah, and they all hate it in there is what I'm hearing.
They're all like, let me out. Yeah. Let me out.
Okay, this isn't funny anymore,
it's
man.
It's colder in here than it is outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, Don likes his freezer and his meat, and I'm just going to leave it there. What about you, Don? You got anything to share?
Yeah.
Well, share.
Share. Well, today I was... went to the doctor.
Well, I went to this doctor because I had this weird rash,
Morty, don't start with your butt warts again.
I'm not talking about that, huh?
Oh, there's a first.
All right, so it's all about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I found this songs and stories for Halloween and Samhain. So, but I'm not going to read the whole darn thing because this thing's long.
Well, I'll just read parts of it.
But I found this. I found the story of the first gargoyle. It says this story is a French saint's tale that explains why there are gargoyles on the wall of northern French cathedrals.
Okay.
Sorry, something caught my eye. The architectural use of gargoyles is surely based on the late Gaelic pagan tradition of hanging, I'm going to skip that word and say cow skulls, on the walls of the sanctuaries at this big long French name place. The Festival of Saint Romain. What?
You're not even going to give it a shot, huh? Not going to even work.
Gournay-sur-Arronde.
Okay. Yeah, that French name.
Gournay-sur-Arronde.
Okay.
The Festival of Saint Romain and the gargoyle was celebrated on May 1st or April 30th. Oh, okay. And a description of the festival is given in the Golden Bough, Volume 2, page 165, 170. Volume 2, page 314. FF, whatever that means. However, the actual feast of the day of Saint Romain, or Saint Romanus in Latin, is set to October 23rd, the date of the translation of his relics, and not, incidentally, the date of the northern countries for one of the feasts of St. James, a pagan saint always associated with Yama. In case this story can probably be told at the time of the year because the subject matter is appropriate, this time of the year, the subject matter is appropriate. Unfortunately, there's no recording of this story, so you'll have to tell it yourself. But here's the gist of the story. The story of the first gargoyle tells that a dragon lived in the marsh near the city of Rouen in France. Rouen, I know that one. In France. Every day it ate mariners, or it caused flooding of the river Seine. Saint Romain came and made the dragon stop by making the sign of the cross at it with his 2 index fingers.
Wow.
He was then able to lead it back to town on a rope. Then the poor dragon was killed and his body was burned. But since the head and neck wouldn't burn because they were used to fire, as the story tells, they were hung on the side of the cathedral. This was the beginning of gargoyles, which are still used on churches to throw water away from the walls, so as rain gutters.
Yeah.
Whatever the origin or purpose of the gargoyle, cow skulls now have purely decorative use on many of governmental buildings in the United States, and it's fun to walk around town and look for the various animals and human heads affixed near the tops of the major buildings.
I think that practice was probably made famous by Vlad Tepes.
I think they should make it famous again.
Yikes, Don. Eesh.
There's a few.
Now
of them.
you're creeping me out just a little bit.
Okay.
It's Bastille Day again.
The
The university library in this town has a bunch of human heads carved around the top of the outside of the walls, and there are ram's heads hanging above the doors in the coffee shop. Wow.
Very cool.
Wow, yeah. So there you go. That's the basic gist of the story of the first gargoyle.
Well, I appreciate that. I feel more well-rounded now.
Yes. I always feel very round.
Well, I mean more well-rounded
Oh,
is what I'm going with here.
I'm just saying round.
Yeah, no, I got you. I caught you. I caught it. I got to find, where's that thing? I thought I had something else pulled up here, but I'm going to have to do some hunting. But, I wonder if that's still open. It is. Some Bigfoot sightings, Don.
Bigfoot sightings.
Bigfoot sightings.
Wow.
The problem is that I already read some of them, but I don't know where I stopped. No, I don't think. No, let me do this. Okay. These are really quick snippets, and it's from a site called Bigfoot Finder, and they're very, very quick snippets of sighting reports. I don't know if they take them from another site or what they do here, but we'll talk about a few of these and just see what's going on. And I don't even know the dates on these things. Oh, I guess 2018 is not too bad.
Oh.
Central Arkansas area mysterious creature sighting. What the hell is that? Did you hear that? It's like,
I did hear it, but it's not my microphone, and my phone is not on vibrate.
No, I just checked my phone too to see if because I got mine on vibrate. So it says my dogs are barking, so I got up to look outside and seen a very big creature fast walking, going south. He crossed the road and disappeared into the woods. I'm not sure what it was, and I've never really believed in Bigfoot, but whatever this was, it wasn't human, and it was about 7 feet tall and walked on 2 legs, so it wasn't an animal either. He never even glanced over my way and didn't seem to be bothered by my dogs barking either. This happened about 45 minutes ago, and it's now 12:58 a.m., May 3rd, 2018, and I'm not going to give out my location because I don't want a bunch of Bigfoot hunters out here, so please don't ask.
Really?
Yeah, well, I suppose, it's like there are some people in the Bigfoot community that are kind of the equivalent of ambulance chasers,
Right, yeah.
like wherever they hear of something happening. Right. Zach Banks.
What?
I said Bigfoot community though.
Oh.
Not ghosts, but that's a whole different deal. But any research, I guess. But to me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I don't think when these things are seen, it's probably really their home turf anyway. They're probably just moving through an area for the most part to get somewhere, and so they could. I mean, with the amount of ground that I believe these guys could cover in a night. In a few hours, they could be probably 60 miles away. I mean, really.
Yeah, they dined and dashed.
Right. I mean, and who knows what their actual range is in a day, but I'll bet you it's pretty expansive. So, I mean, people flood to one area and they're maybe 20 miles away in a whole different area. Yeah. And, it's great to look for evidence, I guess. But, I think that I don't know if following sightings is a real positive thing or not. I don't know. So this one is possible Bigfoot captured on camera. Well, I mean, if they got to say possible, then it wasn't a good capture probably. But said went outside around 9 with a couple of cheap flashlights to go looking for some nightlife. I had a Canon camera with me. Don, why are you snickering?
cheap cheap flashlights for nightlife.
Yeah, well, looking for a cheap date, that's all.
Do I hear sheep?
Oh, no, Don, you didn't just say that.
What? No, I was taking a drink.
Yeah, no, it didn't sound like anything like that in my ears. It said I had a Canon camera with me and decided to take pictures with the flash, and I took about 5, and then I thought I should head back. When I got back and looked at the pictures, it was already way past dark, and a certain one struck me. It was eyes around 8 feet up and perfectly spaced apart. I zoomed in on the picture and realized I had come within probably 75 feet of the creature. I showed everyone else in my family right away, but nobody really paid any attention, and I know that we get bears down here, but it had to have been standing on its back legs to get its eyes up that high. I thought right away that it might just be a raccoon or a tree, but when I went down there to look the next day, something big had definitely been there. A certain palm had some of its leaves stripped off, and the grass was patted down like something had been standing there for a while, except the area patted down was about 6 feet in diameter. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened, but the thing had to have crossed over a 5-foot barbed wire fence to get there, and my dog was with me, and he didn't smell anything. I still have the pictures, and I can show anyone the palm.
I have a question.
Sure.
How can you say that the eyes were spaced perfectly apart with no idea of what perfectly is? It doesn't say, it was like 10 inches apart or 4 inches apart.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
It just said it was 8 feet up and perfectly spaced. What?
I guess what I take that to mean is
perfectly spaced.
Well, meaning like if they were this close together, it was 8 feet up. You'd have to think it was a small animal crawling up on something. But maybe is all I'm saying is what he's trying to say is that they were perfectly spaced apart to be something that big.
To give the impression.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I'm drawing from it. I don't know if that's true or not, but these are just little snippets, so there's not enough information for any kind of real evaluation here. But it says this one is snow prints in Woodland, North Carolina. It was snow on the ground, and footprints were found of an unidentified animal. The animal has a footprint that is 15 inches long and a stride of 9 feet between footprints.
Holy crap. And
more prints have been found and dead deer bodies with human-like it says bit marks, but I think bite marks. And a not touched dead deer was found on the front porch of my home. What? So a not touched dead deer was found on the porch of my home. That's really strange.
Huh.
So it's like
here's a present. Thanks for
maybe
letting me
it bagged
use
2
your
of them, and that was the rent.
Sharing.
Yeah, it's like here you go, I'm splitting the kill, huh?
So I remember I was down in my studio yesterday, and I was watching Bigfoot Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
And it was like halfway through, and all of a sudden my dogs just light up.
Ooh, really?
Right, and it's starting to get dark, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the heck? So I go up, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? I look out the door. There's nobody there.
Or was there, Don?
Well, and then I let him out, right? But they didn't run out the door like they were chasing something. They just kind of moseyed out, like.
Were they still barking when you let them out?
They were gruffing.
Yeah, but you had bear run by your
I
house,
have
Don.
had bear run by my house.
I mean, it could be a
Right in
bear for
front
God's
yard.
sakes.
No,
Yeah.
but they don't light out there like, they're going to chase something. They're just at the door like they're going to eat something.
Huh.
So I open the door and they go wandering out. I walk around to the kitchen, which is on the opposite side, and I look out and there's a 6-point buck standing out there.
Oh, really?
I'm like, I got a picture of the little sucker.
Oh, did you? Nice.
I looked up. I went out the back door real slow. Got my phone. He's looking right at me. Click, 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 click.
Did you have a floodlight on or something?
No, it was still light enough I can get it pictured.
Oh, nice.
But anyhow, I looked up and went, hey, what's up? And he went, pew.
Well, then
God.
it's probably not a squatch in your yard. If there's
No.
a deer standing there,
Yeah.
completely not bothered, I think you're okay.
Oh, well, yeah. And then there was the does were on the other side. They bed down at the bottom of the hill. So,
Wow.
yep. Anyhow, but yeah, that reminded me, the story before that story reminded me of it.
Okay, gotcha.
Sorry, I just thought I'd share.
No, that's fine. Random is okay here on the portal, Don. So this one, look at this font. First of all, look, this is another one of those really. This is such poor web design. It's like a tan background with this gray font on it. It's just horrible.
And it's micro font.
Yeah, it's small anyway.
It's like 0.6.
I don't know. It's just like, my God. Just give some people some design clue here.
Bob in Germany's grading on grammar.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's like untouched, perhaps.
Untouched. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. We could probably grade these and hand them back, but I don't think it's probably going to improve the reporting any.
I wish I was the king of random. He's cool. Someone got accused of being the king of random, but king of random is actually really cool. That's how I learned to make an arc welder.
Oh, this is an actual thing?
It's an
the
actual
King of Random?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's
I
a
didn't
YouTuber.
know.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So this is Bigfoot eating deer in British Columbia, Don.
Well, was it untouched?
I'm betting it was touched if
Okay.
they were eating it.
All right, cool.
This is the Tongrass National Forest in British Columbia. It says, me and some of my friends were going on a hike through the forest when we heard some sort of stomping or rustling in the bushes. When we went to get a closer look, we saw a single Bigfoot eating a deer carcass. It says he briefly looked up at us and then continued eating.
How you doing?
Me and my friends were so afraid we will never be hiking in those woods ever again. Well, I mean, he was well fed at that point, so
Well,
that's
yeah, you got nothing to worry about.
that's a
as long
good
as you're
time
not
to run
bored.
into them. I mean, if they got a belly full, then they're probably
How's
not.
everything tasting out? Can I get you anything else? A couple napkins, maybe?
Yeah, right. You just set you a couple plates, and you can join them.
Don't worry about a tip.
Yeah,
Good, thanks.
yeah. There's a picture here of a print, but I guess we could probably pull this up, right?
Yeah, you can just.
Why not share it with you guys? Because I like to share visual stuff with you guys as well. I mean, not that the tone of my voice isn't enough,
Oh boy.
but just kidding.
Hi, Jess.
Hey, what? Oh, Jess came
Jess
in?
is here. Yeah.
About time, Jess. You almost got to do
Yeah,
dishes
she's-
now since you're
yes.
late.
More than halfway through.
So this is the track, and so we'll talk about this in a second here, but it says tracks one set clear and small and somewhat detailed, larger set not as detailed. So these don't look like fresh tracks at all, right, Don?
No. They look like they've been melted and iced over again.
That's what I'm going to say. Now, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, with tracks, especially in snow. If it's in a temperate climate, that does get warmer and then colder and warmer and colder. Tracks, when they're in snow, do enlarge as they melt. And so if you're ever looking at a track that obviously isn't fresh, but it's pretty big sized, you may very well be looking at a normal track from like somebody's boot that has just melted, refrozen with the day and night cycles.
Right.
And it might be 18 inches, but it might have been only, 10 when it was made. That's just the way it goes. So a track like this is looks very weathered and old, and it's obviously not something that was just made. So I don't know. It does look like it might have had toe pad prints here, but it's hard to say, really hard to say. But it does kind of look like an arch curve here, which I don't know. I'm not really.
I kind of thought they'd be like more flat-footed.
Well, yeah, but with that mid-tarsal hinge,
Yeah.
this part being built up makes sense
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
it would push off with the
And
hinge being
leave
here.
leave a ridge. Yeah.
Right, it would leave a pile somewhere in the middle, and I think a lot of people interpret that to be an arch, but it's not. It's just the way the debris gets pushed when they take a step. But, I mean, the heel looks really broad, if I'm looking at this correctly, but I just think it's so old, it's hard to use something like that
Right.
for any kind of definitive proof. It's interesting, but I don't know.
It's compelling. It's got a compelling argument.
Right, yeah, exactly. So that's the thing with prints in snow is if they're not fresh, it's really hard to use them for substantial proof. It can be just...
It's definitive.
Right. It's definitely not definitive. That's the term I was looking for earlier when I was struggling.
Oh, okay.
Definitive. Yeah. That's it. So this one is Pine Grove State Park. After a quiet winter, we experienced howls, not dog howls, but a series of howls tonight around 7:15 p.m. coming in the direction of Bear Mountain. I don't know where this is. Pine Grove State Park. Conditions in and around the mountain were not great. Lots of mud, high winds, and wind chill, but nonetheless productive night. Next week, we're setting up cameras and a parabolic mic. We're going out to pinpoint the source of the howls and identify the source. I believe we are on to something, and we'll be updating our results next week.
It was a red wolf.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't know. Where's Pine Grove?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Sounds New Jersey-ish.
Yeah, well, that's the Pine Groves, right? You're right.
The Pine Barrens.
Pine Barrens. Thank you. Yes. Okay. This is one sentence. Spotted one crouching in an open field while camping. Okay.
Cool.
There you go. But, I mean, we're going back in time here now, so it's 2018 back to 2018 again. I thought that was, the date here is, it was posted in 2018, but it was, the date of the report apparently was 2016. So the date of...
Oh, it's in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that, what state is that? Or is that in many states?
Well, it's like
is it a range?
The Blue Ridge.
Like the Tennessee and stuff area?
Right. Let me pull this up here real quick. So, because
Sure.
I'm geographically challenged. Everybody knows that. Let's see here. Pine Grove State Park, Michaud State Forest, and Appalachian Trail. Part of the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
Oh.
What's going on here in the
It's
chat?
in Pennsylvania.
So did Mr. Germer leave us?
Who?
Who?
Yup.
Yep. Oh, nice. I'm just looking at chat for a
Yeah,
minute.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
Mr. Yup's area.
Oh, it is. Okay, right. Okay, I get the inference now. I wasn't catching it at first, but I got you now, Don.
Yep.
Yep.
Now you got a pretty mouth.
Jesus. All right.
I hear banjos. Pedal faster.
What the hell? What was this? I'm just looking at some Reddit posts here. Nothing was seen, but it was there. Let's see what this is. Nothing was seen, but it was there, ladies and gentlemen. This is from Reddit. It says, okay, I don't know what's true on here between this sub and another one. I've seen so much that it all blends together. All I can say is my encounter really did happen. It was real, and it's one of my favorite stories. All right, here we go. I was staying with a girlfriend of mine while I was in college. She lived just north of Solomon's Island in southern Maryland. For a small note, she lived at the top of a ravine in the middle of the woods. She didn't have neighbors for about a half a mile in each direction. It was late on a random Saturday in the beginning of summer. I say late, but it was really early, probably around 2:30 or 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to roll a blunt and go outside and sit on the deck and read and listen to music.
Thanks.
It was really nice out, so I figured why not? Her porch patio was big, and it had a big outside light that shined about 30 feet to the edge of the woods where it stopped, and the night took over. As I sat and enjoyed my book, music, and perfectly pearled gilly. What the hell is a pearled gilly? I don't know. Is that a name for the blunt? Okay. I don't know. I don't know enough about that, so I'm just guessing, but I began to notice something. You know, when you have your headphones on and you can still hear an external sound. Well, I kept hearing a rustling, and it sounded like leaves rustling, but every time I hit pause and looked, the sound went away. This went on for about 5 or 6 more times until I'd had enough. I knew I heard it. I wasn't crazy. So I paused the music and it says out the headphone in, put the headphone in, and as soon as I did see it, I don't know what the hell I'm reading here. It says I wasn't crazy, so I paused the music and out the headphone in. As soon as I did see it was the rustling.
It's that pearl blunt.
Yeah, exactly. I shot up and locked at its origin.
He shot up and locked on its oranges.
Still nothing in sight, but the sound remained. I expected to see a squirrel or a rabbit scurrying about, but nothing. And the longer I listened, I realized it was not the only thing nearby. There were three, all moving in unison, just beyond the light's reach. Again, at first I figure squirrels, rabbit, or even maybe a raccoon given the hour, but the next part is what changed my whole perspective. As I stood there staring into the abyss trying to find the origin of all the mild ruckus, an acorn flew past my head. At first I thought it fell. No, they were being thrown from the darkness. Now I think I should share that I love monsters, all of them. So I wasn't turning tail to go inside and hide. My mind was racing. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Bigfoot. It's all I could think. So I started picking up the acorns and throwing them back.
Oh God.
Trying to escalate the system, and hope I can catch a glimpse. After about 5 minutes, I grew tired of our game and wanted to test the boundaries. So I started off the porch with a spare gold club in my hand from my girlfriend's brother's set and headed for the woods. Now, most people that spend any amount of time in the woods will tell you there's always sound in the woods, but nothing, not a single sound. It was a truly deafening silence. No crickets, no breeze, no bugs, zero zip nada. The only time this happens is when a predator is nearby. I'm an experienced hunter, and I know everything that could be in those woods. Nothing that would make it that quiet. A feeling of dread washed over me when all of a sudden left. It was like those moments when time slows down before an accident. But I pushed on because, hell, I'd come this far. No time to puss out now. No time to puss out now. That's hilarious. I started to move closer to the front of the house, walking up the lane when I was altered to one of the wildest roars I've ever heard. Foxes will make a sound that resembles a woman's scream, but this thing was otherworldly. It sounded like a mixture of a human scream coupled with a silverback roar covered in bear bass. Bear bass, okay. Nothing makes that sound. Every hair on my body stood up. I had never in my life heard something so grotesque and inhuman. The worst part was that it was about 30 yards away in the woods, and I'm sure watching my every move. So without turning my back to the woods, I slowly crept back to the house, locking the door behind me. And I tried to tell my girlfriend, but she thought I was just high. Pot doesn't make you hallucinate, and I'm a pothead, so one blunt is nothing. It was real. It happened. I just don't know what it was. Mm-hmm. Anyone else out there have an idea?
Squirrels.
I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, it's those saber-toothed squirrels.
Squirrels throw nuts.
Yeah.
They throw pine cones. Oh, they throw them at me all the time. I'll be standing under a tree and and you can hear them up there. It's like they're laughing.
They
at you.
can
Like
drop them, but they're not throwing them.
No, they can throw them. Not very far, but they can throw them.
Well, this is like a distant wood line. They're getting chucked at them.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think it's a squirrel. I'm going to go with not squirrel.
it's a super squirrel.
Yeah. Well, it's granted the guy was a little bit under the influence there, but
No, it was a pearl gilly. He's fine.
Yeah, it was nothing.
By the way, just so you know, it means it was rolled perfectly.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, very good. All right.
Things you learned from the chat room.
Oh, the chat knew that? You guys are just you guys are plugged in.
Are you just checking? Are you just catching on to what half of our audience is?
I don't know, you guys. I just
we love you. Anyhow.
I only see you with the love in my heart. I don't have any judgment here. Nothing at all. Not that I care if you guys smoke. I mean, I used to smoke a bunch when I was younger, but
as opposed to a blunts.
Yeah, I've never done the whole blunt thing. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that other than they use like a cigar deal, don't they? Like a Swisher Sweet or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'm not totally without a clue here. I'm kind of worldly.
God.
I'm just kidding. I know nothing about it anymore. My mind is like a rusty trap.
Sprung, never opened.
Yeah, it was just kind of locked, frozen in that state. This one has to do with a Sasquatch in Canada.
Ooh.
I kind of like the way this one's heading, Don.
All right.
Did you have more stuff you wanted to read? I don't know.
No, please
All right.
continue. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Don. Don't mind if I do.
Oh, absolutely.
Ian says a great story. I agree, and that was a good story. I like that one.
Hi, Ian. Haven't seen you in a while.
I know. Where you been? It's like you've been avoiding us or something. But it's good to see you. Marilena Bonavita is here. Hello. Anybody else new popping in? Suzanne Page, hi.
Yeah, she was late.
She was late. Ah, that's all right.
Uh-huh.
You guys will get stuck doing the dishes after we're all done then. Just saying, that's the punishment for being late. Sasquatch in Canada. Hi, everyone. It was 2008. My family lived in a rural Nevada, and my dad was a hunting guide, and convinced my mom to move up to Alaska. Well, we made the 3,000-mile drive along the Alaskan highway through Canada, spending a particularly large amount of time enjoying the Yukon Territory. We had 3 vehicles, all large trucks with trailers full of stuff. If you've driven along the Alaskan highway, there's lots of very large rest areas. Well, my dad built an enclosure atop his tailgate of the truck and built a room with windows in it so my brothers and I could hang out and not be strapped into a seat the whole time. My dad, being an avid hunter, had some real trouble getting his 30-plus guns through customs into Canada, but once we were cleared, he kept a 500 caliber revolver, bear protection, in the cab with him. It was so late I don't know about what time about, but it was incredibly dark outside, so we stopped at a big rest stop somewhere outside of the Laird Hot Springs area, give or take 50 miles. I was young. We were all asleep when all of a sudden we heard several gunshots coming from inside the cab of the truck.
Oh.
Jeez, my mom was hysterical, and the other driver of the other vehicle was outside with a shotgun. My dad and him approached the edge of the cleared rest stop area, and all I could see was a very dense wall of trees. I didn't get to see it, but they had parked, and the lights were on and illuminating the wall of the forest. My dad was looking ahead when all of a sudden he realized an immensely large figure was standing perfectly still just at the edge of the tree line. He didn't notice it, though, until it stepped towards our truck. He recalls its eyes being incredibly green, and the reflection of the headlights made its eyes almost glow. My mom and the other driver's girlfriend were in the porta potty just to the left of the truck, so my dad immediately pulled out the revolver and started shooting as he was terrified the figure was moving towards the porta potties. After that first shot was fired, he said he'd never seen an animal react so fast and with such ease. I think about this night a lot and figured I'd get my story out there. Some extras, it was not a bear whatsoever. My dad had been a seasoned traveling hunting guide for a few years at this point and had bagged several bears from black to brown to grizzly. And we've driven that road several times since this night, and we've been back and forth between Alaska and Nevada for years since and have not had another encounter. Still gives me insane chills, though. Wow. So it doesn't sound like he hit it. And if he did, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how big is. They're not really clear about that, but it sounds like it was immense. The first comment is, why would he shoot at it? Well, I'd be kind of torn on that one, because I'd like to believe that maybe they're, these intelligent things that just want to get along. But the other side of me says they could very well just be animals and could eat people. The First Nations tribes have so many legends of women and children being abducted and never coming back. And, I'm sure they were probably eaten by something. So
he was shooting it from the inside of his cab?
Well, it sounds like it, or he jumped out quick and started plugging rounds at it. But
have you ever fired
I've fired 44 Magnum,
30-06 out of a kitchen window?
No, but I imagine it probably blows up the windows, huh?
Oh, my brother passed out. The shockwave passed. He passed out.
Oh my God.
Because some people are sensitive to high base wave.
Yeah.
So I was sighting a coyote. He was looking at my my goats and my llamas. I opened the kitchen window. I looked at my brother. I looked at my son and said, "Cover your ears."
Oh.
My son's like, "Oh, I know what's going on." My brother's standing over there like an idiot. Blam!
Oof.
My son looks up and goes, "Robert just hit the floor." He was pale white. So okay, so that's a 30-06 out the window of a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Now think of firing a 500 in pickup.
I don't know what that means, though. I don't know what a 500 is, to be honest.
Huge.
It can't be bigger than a
Yes. Yes.
30-06, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Huh.
It's more powerful than 30-06.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not as accurate.
Well, yeah, that's
But
interesting.
the point is, though, if even a 38 fired out of any kind of a gun
Right.
inside of a car
Yeah.
is a bad idea. A 500, forget it.
It's not like the movies, then, huh? Is what you're
No,
saying?
it's not.
Where-
No. Brandon says a 30-06 probably ripped the poor thing in half. No, actually, what happened, and this really sucks. I had to beat it in, and I shot, but I had to shoot through 2 fences. I shot the corner of a welded wire fence, and it ricocheted out.
Oh, so you missed. Oh.
No, I didn't miss. The bullet did.
Well, yeah, I hear you. Okay.
But people who are inside, the people shooting it are inside that bubble.
Yeah.
So they don't get that powerful. But my brother just hit the floor. He was like,
Wow.
Pop.
There you go.
Idiot, I told you to cover your ears.
I didn't think it would do that.
Wow. So, I get exactly.
It just makes me laugh every time I think about it.
That is funny. Wow. I mean, I'm glad he's okay. Like, it didn't.
Oh, yeah, he was fine. He
It's
just...
just a low frequency kind of thing, huh? The first said, why would you shoot at it? If I felt it was threatening my family and I had a gun, I'd probably shoot it too. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, you know.
There's a certain amount of logic in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of at that point you got to make a choice, and if you don't make it right, it could be a mess in a hurry. So yeah, I mean, it's never for me. It would never be pleasant to shoot at something. But if I was going to watch a family member or a loved one get dragged away,
no.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's not even a moment of hesitation.
Blazing.
Yeah,
Come out blazing.
absolutely, because, there's some things I don't want to live with in my mind, and that's definitely one of them. So, yeah. Ooh, this one sounds good, Don. This one sounds lovely. It's a creepy gnome creature.
Oh.
We don't see many of these, so let's it says, I'll preface this by saying that I'm not religious or anything, and until this experience, I wouldn't have believed what I'm about to tell you. My buddy and I were about 19 at the time, and we lived with our parents while attending community college. As such, we wanted to smoke weed, and seems to be a theme tonight here, but we had to go elsewhere. We like this spot down by the river that runs through our city. It's a slightly woody spot down a small game trail to the river. It was probably 10 p.m., but there was plenty of moonlight to see by. Well, we wound up sitting next to this little creek, a tributary to the main river, and we sat and were just chatting while our weed out and whatnot. And importantly, we weren't really high yet. Not that weed, especially the swag we smoked in the early 90s would make you see this. But I became absently aware of a scraping sound nearby. And I realized it had been going on since we sat down. Our chatting had covered the noise. I think I must have had a look of curiosity or alertness because my friend stopped talking suddenly, hearing the sound as well. We located it across the bank from the small creek from us, and I could see motion in the underbrush by the moonlight, but couldn't quite make out what was making the sound. A quick inventory of possibilities ran through my mind, but I couldn't think what animal in our little piece of the citified kind of woods would make the noise, which sounded like scraping something against a rock. Suddenly the scraping sound stopped. Whatever it was had apparently become aware of us also. From the underbrush stood what can only be described as a grizzled, gnome-like character. I have no real memory of what he was wearing, if anything, but he was small, probably 2.5 to 3 feet, looked quite weathered, like you could put a cigarette out on his cheek, and he'd no more noticed that than a boulder. In one hand, he had what looked like a sharpened bone or antler, and in the other, some kind of stone for sharpening it. He considered for just a moment, and then seemed to lose interest. He crouched back down in the underbrush, continuing to sharpen his tool. For our part, we very quietly, so as not to arouse his interest again, and very quickly gathered our things and got the hell out of there. I realized later that I was afraid of him. First, because he really didn't look of this world, and secondly, because for being so small, he wasn't scared of us at all. In fact, he didn't look at us like he was looking at another sentient being. He looked at us like we were an interesting pattern on the wall. Somehow, that was incredibly frightening. I've never seen anything like it since, nor has my old friend, whom I still know, and I can't explain it, and I expect I never will. So I wonder if that would be a gnome or a puckwudgie.
I was thinking puckwudgie.
Yeah, I wonder. But it kind of made a conscious choice, like, should I kill you? No, I'll just go sharpen my bone again.
I'm full. I'm all right.
It's like that's the whole thought pattern there. Like, I got to kill you? No, I think you're okay. All right. Never mind. I'm going to sharpen my bone again. Don.
I didn't say anything.
You did snicker, though.
I always snicker.
That's true. But what a curious sighting, huh, Don?
It is, yeah. But yeah, I would think that would be more of a puckwudgie than anything else because, well, they're just mean.
Apparently they are, but here's the thing that surprises me: if it's a puckwudgie, apparently they hate people.
Yeah,
like they go out of their way to hate people.
Well, maybe it only hated them because it didn't have a friend with them.
Right. Well, that could be. Yeah, that's true. Maybe it didn't want to bite off that, two people thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it was okay with just, I'm just, but it obviously wasn't scared.
Well, a stone in one hand, a stick in the other. Why not? Oh, it was a bone, though, huh?
Yeah.
It was hollowed out to make it bleed more.
It's like a blood groove.
God,
yep.
It's horrible, people.
That is horrible. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty curious. I do think those kind of things are out there. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I do think they are. I don't know. You got to wonder, and this is where the curious part comes. Are they part of this world, or are they not? Or are they just sometimes a part of this world, or what's going on?
I wonder if they slip dimension, or
that's kind of what I'm
parallels,
saying. Right. Do they have a choice of which part they're in?
Yeah. Did they slip through from Elfheim?
I don't know.
So who knows?
It's very strange, but the sightings continue with stuff like this. So very interesting, though. I like those little people stories because a lot of people like to scoff at the idea that there could be littler things out there too. But when you look at the Homo floresiensis discoveries out of Indonesia, it does show that there's these diminutive beings that was as big as they got, and they could still be around in other places. I just don't think we know as much as we think we do.
Oh, there's a definite definite agreement there.
This person says, it says, I'm Native American and quite a few tribes speak of little people. They're usually described as like a super old looking man, garden gnome, usually seen by water. The best thing to do is to leave them alone. You can leave a little gift for them like food, tobacco, etc. if you want, but don't anger them. They can become vicious. I don't know if you believe in that or not, but there is quite a few stories over hundreds of years, and there has to be some truth to every tale. I would agree with that. Yep, I think he's on to something there. I believe so, Don.
I think I thought I had oh, yeah.
What?
Well, I was going through my saved pages in my Facebook, and I came across the space satellite crashes in front yard of Michigan home. Yeah. Did you hear about that?
I did.
Crazy.
I did. That's crazy, and the crazier part is that it was a planned reentry.
Right. Well, it wasn't really. It didn't really go out of the stratosphere. It stayed within. It was So let me. Well,
yeah, go ahead and read it.
Now that I brought it up, yeah.
Might as well cover it. It is paranormal. It's not normal to have a satellite crash in your yard.
A Samsung pseudo-space satellite parachuted from the sky and fell to the ground on a farm in Merrill, Michigan on Saturday morning. Nancy Wilkie of Merrill told the Herald that her and her husband Dan were gosh darn, I hate pop-ups. Were prepared to let their horses out. Were preparing to let their horses out around 8:45 a.m. when they heard a loud crash in their front yard. Welke looked out the window and couldn't recognize what she was seeing, but some might have characterized it as out of this world.
Ooh.
Outside, Welke found a four-legged object with an aluminum foil-wrapped box, a solar panel attached to the top of it. Inside the box were two large cameras and one Samsung cell phone, according to Welke. The contraption had several Samsung plaques on it and wording on the side of the box that read, "Space Selfie." It's still humming and flashing when Welke decided to share the strange event on Facebook.
Wow.
Unbelievably, she wrote, "Look what just fell out of the sky, and 911 is baffled, and it's caught up in our trees." Around the same time, the Central Dispatch warned motorists to avoid a nearby area in Wheeler, Michigan, where the fire department has the roadway closed off due to a large object caught in the power lines above. Some local residents, including Welke, had their power cut off for a couple hours while crews removed the large deflated balloon.
Oh, dear.
The split space contraption turned out to be a high-altitude balloon system, officially known as a pseudo-satellite. A Samsung spokesperson released a statement Saturday explaining the incident. Earlier today, Samsung Europe space selfie balloon came back down to Earth, the statement read. During the planned descent of the balloon to land in the U.S., weather conditions resulted in a nearly soft landing in a selected rural area.
Like they selected that baloney. They didn't select that. That's just where it landed.
No injuries occurred, and the balloon was subsequently retrieved. We regret any inconvenience that this may have caused. Samsung's Europe space selfie balloon is part of the Space Selfie campaign, with the idea that customers can get their face in the Earth's stratosphere via Galaxy S10 5G smartphone. The phone receives photos transmitted from Earth and layers them over real-time shots of the planet.
Oh, okay.
The balloon was launched just last week at star-studded event in London, where actress Cara Delevingne.
Yeah, that's Delevingne. She's the actress that was in the movie or the Primes. Well, she was in several movies, but what one was she in? She. I mean, you'd know her if you saw her. She's an attractive young lady.
That's
but
nice.
What the hell was she? She was in that the Prime series, having to do with fairies and humans. Something Row. I can't remember. Carnival Row on Prime.
Never heard.
She's a fairy in that one, and it's a good show. I like.
Anyhow, she took the first picture. Advertisement said the service would be available to Samsung customers until October 31st.
Huh.
But the person who picked up the contraption from Welke's home told her that it was launched from Iowa on Friday with the purpose of taking photos. The representative said he was from Raven Industries, a technology company based in South Dakota. Regardless of the launch source, Welke's Facebook video documenting where the device landed is continuing to spark the curiosity of strangers.
Wow.
You never know what's going to happen, Welke said in the video. Thank God there are no horses out. Priorities. Yeah, so there you go.
That's really curious.
So,
why would Samsung say it was launched from, where did they say, England?
Yes,
and
Lundy,
then
yeah.
this guy said, no, we just launched it in Iowa.
Yeah, we just let it go out of the cornfield in Iowa. You know where Children of the Corn was.
That's a huge discrepancy.
Yeah, there's a huge discrepancy.
That's colossally huge. Somebody didn't get their story straight.
You know what, though? This is going to feed... This is probably making the people who believe in flat Earth very happy. Because this is a balloon.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. It's a balloon satellite.
Yeah, it's a balloon.
See, that's what they got up there. And they can't get satellites past the firmament or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they have to do balloon satellites. It is interesting. And they're going to run with that. That's going to be like the biggest.
Oh, they love satelloons.
Satelloons. And, I mean, believe whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I don't really care. But I just think that's, I think there is space. And I think we have things circling the earth, and the earth, I do believe, is round. And you may or may not believe that, and that's fine. It doesn't change a thing. We all still got to take care of our lives and do
exactly.
things.
You know, the only thing that it bothers me about is if it is true, NASA's just wasting money. And that's a lot of the argument too, but
Sure. All right, so I got a Bigfoot encounter with the whole family.
nice.
When I was really young, probably about 5 or 6, my family went camping. At the tippy top of the mountain, you really couldn't get higher on this mountain. There was a lake we were camping next to, so of course my family was fishing. My dad and mom and uncle and I were on the shore trying to catch some fish. Across the shore on the other side of the small lake, my dad noticed a huge brown black humanoid figure just standing still and faced right at us. It had to have been 8 or more feet tall, maybe even taller since it was so far away. So, like any human would naturally do, my dad tried yelling at it since he thought it was a prank of some sorts. I don't remember what my dad said, but I remember the sound the creature made back. It wasn't anything we understood, just a kind of unintelligible screeching and screaming. And it did, however, sound like he knew what he was saying. If that makes any sense, like he was saying something to us, only in his language. We were all looking at it at that point, and my grandparents and my big brother joined us, and I remember my parents attempting to recreate the screeches he was saying, and he would respond, but this went on for just a couple of minutes. Then the creature took off, and I mean it took off. Mind you, the entire time he was on 2 feet, much like a human, he turned and started running towards the forest and was out of sight in just seconds. He had to have been running like 25 or 30 miles per hour. My brother, grandpa, and dog tried chasing it. Definitely the smart thing to do. And went to where we had seen him at and the direction he left in. They did find a huge lump of black hair that was stuck to a barbed wire fence, although I'm not certain it was really from that creature. Tell me why we didn't leave, laugh out loud. We spent the night still, intense. It was very windy, and I don't think anyone actually slept. I think about it from time to time, but honestly, it honestly isn't that rare for an encounter in Utah. I've seen UFOs. My siblings have seen skinwalkers. My brother was followed by a UFO, and I live right by the Skinwalker Ranch my whole life.
Oh, that explains.
I promise my family is not a bunch of kooks. Well, maybe a little, but not for the sense we all made up the same encounter. Wow. So they all had that encounter. They all saw it. It was talking to them in some Bigfoot language. You know, the Sierra sounds, that samurai chatter.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that was probably what it sounded like, but I'm just guessing. I don't want to read what is Bigfoot. Something large and extremely fast when I was younger. That sounds good. Possibly Bigfoot or Dogman, it says. It said, I thought Bigfoot had dark hair, but it looked a very light gray. I feel it's just an obligation to say that I too am a skeptic. I've been trying to convince myself I didn't see a large hairy humanoid thing in the woods all those years ago, but I did. This was somewhere around the mid-2000s when I was in middle school. I was staying at a friend's house for the night in the backwoods of Michigan. For privacy, we'll say his name is Jay. Of course, because Jay, everybody knows a Jay. Immediately behind Jay's house was a few acres of wood that led to a lake. If you went straight back in the woods from his backyard, there was a path that went straight to the lake, which was intersected at 90 degrees by another path about halfway to the lake. Probably a quarter mile from the backyard to the lake, if you went straight down the path from the backyard and then turned left at the intersection. The path was a downhill grade followed by a flat portion, followed by an uphill grade, which eventually ran into a 2-lane country road, one of those 50 miles per hour ones that goes on for miles, with not so much 1 or 2 houses for miles. It was late in the afternoon and the sun had just started to set. We, being middle school boys, were running around the woods all afternoon playing with fake guns and stuff. Good times. Absolutely nothing leading up to this point was strange. No weird, eerie feelings, no odd, unidentified sounds, no paranoia or ghost stories prior to the playing in the woods. Just two brothers running around having a great time outside. Well, we were basically pretending we were army guys. At one point, I decided to run off saying something about flanking the enemy, and he dashes off to my left. I started creeping through the woods pretending to shoot down bad guys as I went, and I found myself standing at the intersection described earlier. Straight forward was towards the lake. To the left was the path that went down, then back up the road, to the road rather, and I was standing looking diagonally between the two paths when I hear some faint sounds slightly off to my right towards the lake. What I saw made my whole body tingle in the worst possible way. About 50 feet, maybe more, maybe less, towards the lake and just behind a tree, I see this face and shoulder/arm peeking around it. The most terrifying part was that it was probably 2 feet or more higher than you'd expect a human's head to be. Before I could properly observe the face, which was undoubtedly hairy, it snapped back behind the tree as if it realized I could see it. The color of the figure I saw was light gray, like your average cement sidewalk. Because of that, I was unsure what it was. My first couple of thoughts were sheer confusion and fear. Then, in my frozen state, I remembered that Jay was wearing a shirt almost exactly that shade of gray.
Oh.
I tried whisper shouting his name towards the now hidden figure, and I called out maybe 2 or 3 times when off about 50 feet behind me and to my left down the path leading towards the road. Jay emerged from the thicker trees. This was complete opposite direction from the figure I saw, and there's no way he could have snuck around me in that short of time frame. To further drive the point home, it was fall and the ground was covered in thick layers of dry, dead, deciduous leaves. The crunch from the leaves was very distinct, and you couldn't avoid it. Anyway, Jay had heard me call out, and from just down the slight decline, he looked up and asked what was going on, and I pointed into the trees where I'd seen the figure and said at a normal volume, "I saw something big over there." As soon as I finished that sentence, I mean the very second, whatever I had seen started stomping off towards the road parallel to the path we were on, probably 15 to 100 feet deeper into the woods, which were too thick, I think, to see anything at that distance. For some godforsaken reason, we tried to run after it. Jay and I were athletic as 6th and 7th graders could be. We played tons of sports when we were fast kids. We were hauling our tails down the path parallel to the beast, as fast as we could sprint, and yet it was obviously absolutely smoking us. The road, if I remember correctly, was a solid quarter mile from the intersection of the two paths. We had maybe just finished running down the downhill portion when this monster was already at the road. And believe it or not, we could tell where it was from the crunching leaves, and you could hear its massive footsteps, clear as day, even while running. When we realized it was getting to the road, we also realized a car was coming, and I kid you not, as soon as the crunching leaves stopped, the thing stepped out onto the road, and the car slammed on its brakes and pounded on the horn, its tires screeching for a solid 3 or 4 seconds at least. When the car finally stopped, we heard the leaves start crunching on the other side of the road, and then the car slammed on the gas, peeled out again, and took off like a bat out of hell. Keep in mind, we could only hear all of this. We didn't see the car, so there's no way we could ever track the person down and ask what they saw. But I wouldn't be surprised if their story was out there on the internet somewhere about the time they almost turned a Bigfoot into roadkill. Anyway, we finally made it to the road, crossed over to the other side, and on that other side was mostly flat woods as far as the eye could see. Nothing but trees, and more trees. No sight or sound of the beast. We waited for a bit and then went back home. We do have a call. I'll get to the call in just a second. A few things to note. Was it Bigfoot for sure? I can't say. But what I do know is that it was tall, hairy, gray, and 100% bipedal. And there was absolutely no mistaking the sound of it running. It's funny, though, there's descriptions, videos, etc. of Bigfoot walking, and moving far faster than a normal human, but I'm almost sure this thing was sprinting. The speed at which it reached the road was utterly unbelievable. It ran a quarter mile in probably close to 20 seconds. And trust me, I understand how absurd that is. And we have a call, Don.
Well, grab the call. It's almost time, though.
All right, it's area code 228. You're on the air.
Well, hello. How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I want you to tell me what you've got going on tomorrow night.
Oh, God.
We're doing the Parathon. What we're doing is we'll be starting at 8 p.m. So it's going to start at 8 p.m. instead of the normal 7 p.m. because I got to take time to get the minion out there to get his candy. Otherwise, I won't be able to live in this house. So I got to get him out there and get his trick-or-treating done. But then we're going to be coming back. Don will be here with me. And we're just going to go until we just can't go anymore. It might be a 3-hour show or a 6-hour show. I don't know. That's what we're doing.
Well, I sure understand that. I have to take my son out trick-or-treating tomorrow night, too. And I'm really looking forward to it. And, you and Don, is the veil getting thinner? Is it just getting to y'all tonight? Earlier in the show, y'all were really cracking Chad up to no end. And we're really having fun with that.
Well, I'm glad. We like to keep you guys entertained as much as we can. And yet still keep it family friendly.
Of course.
Which is important, of course. Are you there?
And I just love y'all, Brent and Don. Y'all were talking about nobody loves you, nobody's calling in. Well, we love you, we really do.
Well, thank you. That's nice. It's nice to, because we got this phone line. It's nice when people use it because we love hearing from you guys. We really do. It makes the show just so much fun. And I'm hoping tomorrow night a lot of people take advantage of the phones and keep us company.
We're going to keep us awake, you mean?
Yeah, keep us awake too. That's for sure. Yeah. Because if I sit here and read stories for like 2 hours straight, 3 hours straight, that's going to be a short parathon because I'm not going to have any juice left to keep digging deep and trying to find passion to throw into these stories. So I need your guys' help.
Well, and I really think the veil is getting thinner, Brent. And I really think it's affecting people this go round.
Yeah,
I do too. I'll be covering it tomorrow night, but I'm pretty confident that the spirit of my dad, who passed away a year ago, has been really active. My mom's been calling me and keeping me updated on things that are going on, but some really crazy stuff is going on. So I'll be excited to share all of that with you guys. And I've done it on the show before, but I figure we're getting a lot new to listeners, so I'll be talking about that. And a bunch of other stuff as well tomorrow night. So Don's got some video vignettes he's been putting together that we can show you guys. So it should be a good time.
Yeah, it's actually just so we could go sneak off and take a nap.
Don and I are going to power nap. Try to get more mileage out of it.
Well, this is Tom Hazel, and I was just joking about, dressing up in a costume and wearing a mask and, inhaling some helium. And calling up and cackling at y'all.
Well, it's all part of the fun. As long as you're ringing the phone, I'm good with whatever you're doing on it, as long as it's family friendly. Can't have it too scary.
What? Scared the hell out of me.
Okay, well, I was just popping in to say hello to y'all and to say hello to everyone who's listening tonight. And you're really great. I'm really glad that your ratings are growing. I was very thrilled to hear that the other night. And just keep up the good work, guys. Y'all are great. All right, good night.
Good night. Thank you for calling in. It's great to hear from you. Have a good night.
Sweet.
I'm trying. There it goes. My mouse wasn't working. Excellent, ladies and gentlemen. But as it happens, that will be the end of our Samhain Eve show.
Samhain.
And, of course, tomorrow is Samhain or Halloween or whatever you want to call it. And I hope you guys have a brilliant day, whatever you're doing. And, of course, Don and I will be back starting at 8 p.m. So it'll be an hour later than normal. So if it gets to be 7, you're like, where's the portal? It's coming. Trust me.
Just take a nap. We'll be right there.
Yeah, you guys nap up, too, because you're going to have to stay with us.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many of you guys will be able to be there with us, but I'm hoping a lot of you will.
Yeah.
I know it's a work day and stuff, and that sucks, but it'll be great.
What are you talking about? I gotta be at work at 6 in the morning.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, you're a trooper, dude.
I know.
Wow.
They know it too.
Don's taking one for the team, ladies and gentlemen. If he can do it, so can you. I'm just saying. All right, guys. Don, anything in closing?
We'll see you tomorrow.
That was well thought out and emotional. I love the emotion in that.
Yes.
I felt it. It
Yes.
moved me
Yes. Wow.
on a real deep level.
Yeah.
Either that or it was gas. But either way, but thank you guys for being here and being a part of the show. We love you all, of course. So be good, be kind, be nice to each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. And the veil's getting thin, so
It is.
mind your P's and Q's, which means pints and quarts. It was an old thing that the old wives used to say to their husbands before they went out drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Mind your P's and Q's.
Or it could have been a Benjamin Franklin thing with the first printing presses and such.
Because they're easily confused. No, it's a P. No, it's a Q. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. So we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a wonderful day, and we'll be waiting for you here at 8 p.m. right here on YouTube. So hope you guys will join us. Love you guys. Have a great night. Good night.
Mm.